Okay, friends, I'm starting. Good morning. I'm starting today's lecture. Here I am sharing the screen of today's lecture. Yes, is it shared? Tejasri, is the screen is shared well? Friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We started the solar energy and we came to, at the end of last lecture, we came to this point, that is the utilization of the solar energy. And there are the two methods for the utilization. One is the direct method and another is the indirect method. Indirect method, the thermal routes and photovoltaic routes are used to convert the solar energy into that is the photovoltaic route is used to convert the solar energy into electrical energy, and the thermal route is used to use the thermal application or the heat application of the solar energy. Then method, due to the indirect method, the hydroelectric water power plant are to be designed. We know that the winds are to be started or sources due to the sun, the biomass, that biomass is the from the in the form of the plants, in the form of the trees, in the forms of the on that tree the animals are the leaves, that is the biomass, that is the production of the carbohydrates. It is due to the process of the solar energy, and that is known as a photosynthesis process. Then ocean, and on ocean, we know that due to the gravitational force between the moon and the earth, as well as the earth and the sun, the ocean on ocean, there is the tides are to be produced, the waves are to be produced, some temperature differences are to be produced, some marine currents are to be produced in the ocean. And all these things, that is the ocean wave, ocean tide, marine current, as well as the temperature difference, are to be used for the solar for the conversion of the solar energy into the electrical energy. One, the energy from the sun is directly or indirectly used. The direct use includes the thermal and the photovoltaic conversion, whereas the indirect route or the indirect use includes the water power, wind power plants, the biomass power plant, then ocean energy plants. Ocean energy is further utilized as the ocean wave, ocean tide, marine current, and ocean temperature differences are to be produced here. The thermal route. Thermal route, that is the utilization of the solar energy via the thermal route, includes the number of the ways. There are as follows, that is the we know that water heating आपल्याला झालं होतं, आपण बघितलेलं आहे. That is the solar water heating is the most attractive and thermal application of the solar that will be work for the flat plates. Place heating पण होतं मित्रांनो, हेही झालेलं आहे. आणि आपण आलो होतो ते बघा, रेफ्रिजरेशन पण झालं होतं, पॉवर जनरेशन, डिस्टिलेशन, डाईंग, कुकिंग अँड फोटोव्होल्टॅक रूट पण झाले होते. आपण आलो होतो तो इथं इसेन्शियल सबसिस्टम्स इन द सोलार प्लांट. दॅट इज सोलार प्लांट जर आपल्याला तयार करायचे असतील तर व्हॉट आर द essential subsystems, and that subsystems are to be studied here. If we have to design the solar plant on at in our place, in our village, then what should be aspects there? There should be, what will be the aspect in a subsystem in solar plant, that will be studied here. The essential the essential subsystem in the solar energy plant, which aims to be a constant and continuous energy supply for the different application. We know that the solar energy is to be used for the different application, and we have to take into consideration all that things, all that blocks, all that essential subsystem which was utilized inside the solar energy plant, that is depend upon the depend upon the peculiar characteristic of the solar energy and application of the solar energy used. The characteristic of the solar energy available includes the dilute in nature. We know that that is the energy or the power which is to be available by the solar energy on the earth is ranges from 1 to 1 kilowatt per meter square. Per meter square, it is 1 to 1, 0 to 1 kilowatt, and it is done discontinuous. It is intermittent. It is intermittent. That is the source of the energy, and the sensitive atmospheric condition, that will be the cloud, storm, location of the place, inclination of the sun, and taking into account all these things, facts, it is required to construct the solar energy plant. And typical solar energy plant having the minimum requirement of the six subsystem. Friends, we know that the solar energy is very invariant around the earth's surface. We know that it will be vary from 0 to 1 kilo watt per meter square. That is the intensity of the solar energy. Also, we know that the solar energy is very discontinuous. It will be changes with the session wise, it will be changes with the season wise, it will be change in day to day time also. Okay. Also, we know that it will be sensitive according to the atmospheric condition. If the atmospheric conditions are to be changed, if the atmospheric conditions consider that is there is the cold, then the heating effect or the intensity of the solar energy which is reaching on the surface, it becomes diluted. If that is the atmospheric condition is the summer condition, in summer condition, that is the sun should be perpendicular to the earth surface, and hence the intensity of the solar heat radiation, it is to be increased, its intensity is to be increased. Okay. And all these facts are to be came on calculation and consideration. And due to these, considering that the sensitive atmospheric condition, it will be depend upon the cloudy region, it will be depend upon the rainy region, it will be depend upon the winter region, it will be depend upon the summer season, the location of the place. If that place is on the hill surface, that place is on the desert surface, that place is present in near the river or in greenery, that is the intensity of the heat radiation or the solar radiation, it are to be minimized. It means that the solar energy which is coming at the surface of the earth, at each place or at a different place, it has the different intensity of the radiation. And so, to build up a energy plant, we have to consider the different aspects, and with considering this aspect, we have to take into consideration the minimum the six system. The typically he as here mentioned that the typically solar energy plant has following the six subsystems minimum. The minimum requirement to design the solar energy plant is to be the six subsystem. That is solar collector. These are called as an solar concentrator. As already mentioned, because of the very dilute nature of the solar energy, it is required to make the energy source strong. We know that it is required to make the energy source strong. The purpose of the solar energy collector or concentrator is to transform very dilute solar energy or the sources into concentrated solar sources or solar energy. And for this different for this type of the solar collector are discussed below, that is the flat plate collector. We know that, just we take the example of the lens, convex lens. If we took the convex lens, and we know that on the all the rays which are incident on the surface of the convex plane, they are concentrated at the focal point, and we get the high intense energy, intense light energy on the high intense light energy on the surface. Uh, it will be concentrated to one dip point. It means that these some techniques are used to increase the concentration, of the heat radiation which was coming on the surface or the earth surface, that is the solar concentrated. And collectors that will be known as in solar concentrators. There are the different types of the solar collectors or the solar concentrator. They will be they will be convert the solar energy from dilute form to the concentrated form, that is the flat collectors. That is these are the collectors which have the no focusing. Here the no focusing is used. That is the most widely used liquid flat, that is the flat collectors, because the simple design आहे फ्लॅट असतात. नो मुव्हिंग पार्ट्स आर युज्ड, त्याच्यामध्ये मुव्हिंग अरेंजमेंट किंवा जसा सूर्य फिरेल तसं सूर्याकडच्या बाजूला जाणं, सूर्यफुलासारखं जाणं, अशी काही अरेंजमेंट त्याच्यामध्ये नसते. And because it is simple design and no moving parts, require little maintenance. Besides this conventional collector, a number of novel design of the collectors are to be developed in recent year. अलीकडे मात्र याच्यामध्ये वेगवेगळ्या फॅशन्स, वेगवेगळ्या डिझाईन, वेगवेगळ्या टेक्निक्स आलेल्या आहेत. Besides this conventional collector, a number of novel design of the collector are developed in recent year, and this includes the evacuated tube collector (ETC), that is evacuated tube collector. The polymer solar collectors. Polymer solar collector are the efficient collector, and their efficiency will be measured, and they will be convert very dilute energy and it will be concentrate. The Brookhaven National Laboratory, that is the laboratory. Here L we have to in